Hi guys, it's Dylan from Bijou Diamond Jewellery in London with the next video in our engagement ring buying guide series. And we've got the final video in our 4Cs lineup of videos or mini series, which is Carat. So people often think of carat as the size of a diamond, which is not technically true. Carat actually refers to the mass of the diamond. But we'll come on to that a little bit more in depth later on and look at some example diamonds again as we've done with the other videos. But first let's go back in time, as with all my videos, and look at the history of why or how the carat measurement came about. So back in the 1500s, jewelers around the world wanted a way to be able to measure gold and gemstones, more so gemstones, and have like a uniform way that was shared all around the world for measuring diamonds or gemstones, so that we knew that a 1 carat diamond in Australia was the same as a 1 carat diamond in Africa, and all across the world, so it was easier to trade. So they looked around the world at all different types of plants and tried to find which plant had the most uniform size and mass of seed, and they came across the carob plant. So they looked at the carob pods, which contained all the carob seeds, and all the carob seeds were pretty much uniform across all pods and all around the world and all plants. So they decided that the best way of measuring gems was to use carob seeds. And then the word carob was slightly changed over the years through different languages, Greek, etc., and Arabic, and it eventually became into carat. And that's where we have 1 carat. So 1 carat is basically equal to 1 carob bean. Okay, so that's the history of the carat weight or carat mass of a diamond. Let's look at the actual weight of a carat. So 1 carat is equal to 0.2 grams, which is 200 milligrams. So now we've got modern day technology, which is extremely accurate. We've got some incredible weighing scales that are really sensitive and able to measure very, very small diamonds. And proper gem scales will actually have an enclosed box, like a glass box, over the top of the actual scale. And the reason why there's this little glass enclosure is because the scales are so sensitive that a brush of air or wind moving around the room would be enough to change the weight on the scales. So they're extremely accurate, extremely sensitive, and that means nowadays we're able to measure the mass of a diamond to a very accurate decimal place. Okay, so many of you may have heard of points as well, points within a carat. So a carat is split, so 1 carat is split up into 100 points. It's almost like a percentage. So 20 points would be 0.2 carats, and that's because there's 0.20 carats in that stone, aka 20 points. It can be 90 points, 93 points, 73 points, etc., etc. It's only really used for gemstones under 1 carat. So for example, that 20 pointer diamond, 0.2 carats, which is 40 milligrams. Let's talk about the actual rarity and looking at some real stones and the difference between different carat weights on stones. So as with all the other 4Cs that we've looked at, the better they are down the scale. So for example, a D color is more rare than an F color, or rarer than an F color. A flawless diamond is rarer than an SI quality diamond or a clarity diamond. An excellent cut diamond is rarer than a well cut or a poor cut or a good cut diamond. So the same applies to carat here. The higher the carat weight, the rarer the diamond. And the reason is when we go to our mine to find a stone. So for example, the 2 carat diamond that I'm showing you on screen now, the exact weight of this is 2.18 carats. When that was discovered in the mine, the stone itself didn't weigh 2.18 carats. The stone, probably this piece of rough that this stone came from, weighed at least 10 carats. If it was maybe not a perfect piece of rough, could even have weighed much more than that. There may have been some other stones that were cut from this piece of rough as well, but generally between 15 and 30% yield from a piece of rough is what you're aiming for. So let's say 10 carats approximately for this stone. So to be able to find a stone that's that large, a piece of rough diamond that's that large is quite rare and difficult. The actual diamond you get at the end is not what's actually found in the mine. A lot of that rough has to be cut away for us to be able to find the finished product. There are certain pieces of rough that are ideally shaped for being cut into a diamond, or a cut diamond, faceted diamond, and therefore the yield can be 50% or higher on those very, very rare stones. But generally 15 to 30% is the yield from rough. So is bigger better? Well, people often concentrate on carat a little bit too much. They tend to ignore the other 3 Cs in the 4C lineup, colour, clarity and cut. and in my opinion they're just as important. Let me put that into an example. So if we got a 2 carat diamond that was maybe a K color Si3 or I2 clarity and maybe poorly cut as well, so not the best diamond, but it's 2 carats. And then we compared that to a 1 carat, excellent cut, so excellent cut, excellent symmetry, excellent polish, a D color and also flawless. The smaller 1 carat diamond, even though it's half the size of, or half the mass of the 2 carat diamond, the presence of the 1 carat will be far greater than that of the 2 carat. The 2 carat diamond, even though it's a big stone, will have no presence, no life. It won't have any fire, no scintillation. It'll be quite a dull looking stone. It will not have the same life and brilliance that the smaller 1 carat diamond will have. So people often overlook it because they just think bigger is always better, but it's not necessarily true of diamonds. You need to really consider the other factors also. Okay, so that's kind of all there is really to carat, but I want to look at some common misconceptions when it comes to carat. And probably the biggest one really is that the carat weight or the mass of the diamond is equal to the size of the diamond, the spread, which is totally not true. Cut is probably the most important factor for that. So if we take a 1 carat diamond, the actual mass of that diamond is 1 carat. There's a certain formula for cutting that diamond to its optimal size. And that's what we talked about a few weeks ago when we looked at diamond cut. So looking at the symmetry, the polish and the cut of the diamond on round diamonds. The cutter will look and see that that's a 1 carat piece of rough and 1 carat end result, and it must be cut in a certain way. And that's why it got awarded the excellent symmetry. That's really the most important factor when coming to, or when considering size of a diamond. Carat weight just purely looks at the actual mass of the stone. Okay, so let's put that into another example again, and I'm going to show you some stones as well to help you understand this. But we could take a 1 carat mass diamond, so a 1 carat diamond, and we could cut it to excellent polish, excellent symmetry, excellent cut, and it's going to be the perfect shape and size and dimensions for that 1 carat piece of diamond. But then we could take that same 1 carat diamond and cut it so that it's slightly shallower, but we make the spread of the diamond, so the diameter of the diamond, bigger. So now that diamond looks bigger, but the depth has been compromised and now it's a little bit shallow. We could equally make that stone smaller, have a smaller spread, a smaller diameter, but just extend the depth. The volume can't change because obviously it's a 1 carat diamond and that has to stay the same. So the volume doesn't change, but where we place the mass of the diamond can be changed by how we cut the stone. And that's going to make the stone look bigger or smaller. And the problem with doing that is a shallower diamond, so one that spreads larger, won't interact or won't bounce the light out properly or reflect the light back to the eye, as well as an excellently cut diamond will. And the same applies to a stone that's too deep, so maybe it spreads less and has more of the mass in the depth of the stone. That stone will not interact or not reflect the light in the optimal way either. You'll lose some brightness and scintillation from that stone. So that's the most important factor when looking at size, is actually how well cut that diamond is. Okay, so I'm going to show you some stones to help you understand this, and we're also going to look at some different sizes also. So on the screen now I'm going to show you a 0.5 carat diamond, or 0.50 carat, and now that, going back to what we talked about, that would be a 50 point diamond, a 50 pointer. So we can see this stone is a XXX stone. It's a really nice stone, very pretty. Now, if we compare the size of that now to the next one, which is a 1 carat diamond, we can see the size difference is a little bit, even though it's double, the size difference isn't major, but it's definitely there. It's definitely apparent. The actual millimeter, so the diameter of the diamond difference is just over 1.3 millimeters between the two of them. So, you're looking at a very small amount, but relative to the size of the stone, it's quite a significant difference. And then showing you now on screen is a 2 carat diamond next to our 1 carat diamond, and we can see just how much bigger that one is. That's a massive difference when you go from 2 to 1, much bigger difference. There we've got over 2 millimeters difference in diameter. So we can see roughly how big a 50 pointer looks, a 1 carat and a 2.2 carat diamond. Quite big differences, but again, it's amazing how much the eye can see the difference between these stones. We're talking, 1.3 millimeters here, but we can really see big differences. So that gives you a rough idea of size, but now I want to bring in what I discussed earlier on with having the same carat weight but a different spread, so a different size, different actual dimensions of the stone, even though they have the same carat weight. So we're going to go back to our 1 carat diamond now. This one is excellently cut, excellent symmetry and excellent polish. We're going to take a 1 carat diamond, also 1 carat diamond that has a good polish, good symmetry and good cut. So this one has lost a lot of its spread or size to its depth, so it's much deeper than an excellently cut diamond is. So if I compare the two on screen now, the two 1 carat diamonds, on the left hand side we've got the poorly cut diamond, on the right hand side we've got the excellently cut diamond, and we can just see that the one on the right does spread much bigger. Even though they are both the exact carat weight, you can see that actually carat weight is not always the only factor to consider when you're looking at the size of a diamond. The main factor really is how excellently cut, and then pair that with the carat weight, and then that gives you a good idea of the size of that diamond. Okay, so what do we recommend at Bijou Diamond Jewellery? Well, it really depends on the person and the case or client that we're looking at. We will always advise the client to buy the best diamond possible for their budget, and we don't concentrate all our attention on carat weight. There are certain clients around the world that are very much focused on carat weight and they just want the biggest carat weight, but we always say it's important to consider those other 3 C's. So that concludes our mini series now for the 4 C's. We're going to be doing loads more coverage on the 4 C's and looking at each individual C maybe a little bit more in depth, and some also other parts of the 4 C's that maybe other people don't look at. But at the end of the day, it's always important to leave the final decision up to a jeweler who's had an experienced eye, who's seen thousands of diamonds in their time, and they know what's going to look best in that piece. There are lots of websites out there that try and make you a diamond expert overnight and let you pick your own stone. But it's a real difference between picking it online and actually seeing it in real life, or an expert like ourselves seeing that stone and making sure it's the right one for that piece. So to conclude the video, it's really important when you're looking to buy a diamond or a piece of jewellery that you're not only motivated by carat weight and size. The other 3 C's in some ways are more important in bringing you a beautiful diamond. As always, if you're interested in any of the pieces mentioned in this video, then don't hesitate to contact us. It'd be a pleasure to make something special for you.